Welcome to Pro Football First 50 Years, where we take the past and we bring it back to life. Now, I'm strictly talking the first 50 years here, 1920 to 1970. I mean, especially if you're going to go back in time and check out a game like from the 20s or the 30s. I mean, sure, of course, you can go online and find out, find a box score, who won, who lost, who scored a touchdown, how far a field goal was, where the game was played at, what the attendance was. You might find starting lineups for each team, but exactly what happened during the game. Well, thanks to old newspaper articles, we get to take a little bit of a deeper dive into each and every game during the first 50 years of professional football. Now, a little loose flash here for you. Ain't no fancy videos or nothing like that here. All there is you and me for the next 30 to 60 minutes, so that's all right with you? Let's get it on then. Today's game. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, huh? Goodness gracious. Two powerhouses. I've seen better days. Let me tell you. Detroit Lions go out to the Memorial Coliseum to take on the Los Angeles Rams on October 25th, 1959. Oh, boy. They could just go back in time just a few years, boy. This was not a good season for either one of these teams, not even close. I mean, you go back to 1945, the Cleveland Rams, the last game they ever played in Cleveland, the Rams, they were in the championship game. Go up to 1949, the Rams were in the championship. 1950, the Rams were in the championship. 1951, Rams were in the championship. 1952, 1953, 1954, the Lions were in the championship. 1955, the Rams were in the championship. 1957, the Lions were in the championship. Holy cow, Batman. Wow. It wouldn't be any farther. It was just a horrible season for both these teams. Absolutely horrible. In this particular game, the Rams would come in with 2 wins. And that's all they have all season long, 2 wins. They would wind up in last place. The Lions would come into this game winless. So they would come out with the win. I mean, they would only have 3 wins all season long. I mean, it was very horrible. At the end of the season, Sid Gilman would step down as the coach of the Rams. Of course, he would go on to some very wonderful things in the AFL. His coaching tenure, would have a great coaching tenure in the AFL. For the Lions, they would have some good teams, obviously, going into the 60s. It would be 1970 before they even make it back to the playoffs. I mean, it's not a good time for either one of these teams. The Rams would struggle through the early part up to the mid part of the 60s until George Allen would step in 1966, from the 66 to 70. He certainly turned that team around. And then it wouldn't be till 73. That's when the Rams just started winning the division every year. And but this is a tough season for both teams. Let's pull up the schedules here for both these teams here first. First we'll go with the Lions, and we'll show you. I mean, once again, I mean, they came into this game, they were winless. I mean, the last game that they played was at home, was against the 49ers, and man, they got booed out of the stadium there big time. So it was best. One of those things, too, also, it's kind of like, when things are not going real well, sometimes it's just the best to get out of Dodge. Well, I mean, actually, this 4 games into the season, the Rams, unbelievable. We're 2-2. They were right in the thick of it. They were unbelievable. As we'll show you with their record, they won 2 games on the road, the Rams, and that was it. They didn't win 1 game at home all year. They were 2-2. They were only 1 game out of first place, the Rams, after 4 weeks. And they thought with the winless Lions rolling into town, maybe they could get 3-2, and they'd still be in the thick of the race. But you see right here with the Lions had a very good exhibition season. They played 7 preseason games, for crying out loud. Now, this is not right. This is wrong. I'm on the Pro Football Archives website here, Pro Football Reference, doesn't show their exhibition schedule. So I go to the Pro Football Archives. Well, this is wrong here. I don't know. I don't even know if they even care, but the Cardinals won this game. See here, this is the Lions, and it says that the Lions won 21-19. This is wrong. The Cardinals actually won this one 21-19. But even still, the Lions had a very good, very successful preseason. They were 4-2-1. But once again, that's exhibition. Doesn't count toward the regular season. But if you'll see here, right, they lost to the Colts, they lost to the Packers, they lost to the Colts, they lost to the 49ers. Now, I mean, small consolation, but their first four losses were all against very good teams. In 59, the Packers were not good in 58, but Vince Lombardi stepped in, and obviously he's the coach, and we know how that things went there in Green Bay. But they did lose to four very good teams. Obviously, they lost 2 games to the Colts, who won the 58 championship and who go on to win the 59 championship. They lost to the Packers with Vince Lombardi. Packers would finish 7-5, and then they got blown out at home by the 49ers, 34-13. And the 49ers would finish at 7-5. So, I mean, the Lions did lose, their first 4 games, all the good teams. But, when the Lions expect a little bit more than that. And I said it was not a pretty sight. They got booed out of the stadium in this game right here. So one of the best things to do is just to get the heck out of Dodge. And they went out and they got out of Dodge, and they're visiting the Rams here. And you can see this: the Lions would win this game. But then you notice after this, there's only 2 more wins. They would beat the Rams once again. Then they would beat the Cardinals, who I believe only had 2 wins all season long too. So the Lions didn't beat anybody any good. And then if we look here with the Rams did beat somebody who was good. I'll show you here. I mean, what do we got here? They were 3-3 or 3-2-1. So, somewhat of a successful preseason. They only played 6 preseason games, unlike the Lions who played 7. But they would start. I mean, this game here against the Giants, they could have won this game. And then they got blown out by the 49ers. Then, I mean, it's one of those things. Any given Sunday, they won back-to-back games. They beat the Bears, who only lost 4 games all year. Then they blew out the Packers. The Packers were at that time. The Packers were the only undefeated team in the NFL. They were 3-0, and the Rams went into Green Bay and beat them 45-6. And that was the last win on their in their season. I mean, they were just, they lost some tough games here, 26-21, 24, 23-17, 23-20, but then, the last 3 weeks here, I mean, they were totally out of it. And I mean, they lost twice to the Colts, and they got blown out by the Packers. So it was not a very good season whatsoever for the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this game was played in, obviously, Memorial Coliseum. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful stadium, boy, I'll tell you. Let's go to Wikipedia. What do they got to say? Oh, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Wikipedia. Many an event has happened there. I mean, including of all things, obviously, the Olympics. Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum is a multi-purpose stadium conceived as a hallmark of civic pride. The Coliseum was commissioned in 1921 as a memorial to Los Angeles veterans of World War I. Completed in 1923, it will become the first stadium to have hosted the Summer Olympics 3 times when it hosts the 2028 Summer Olympics. How amazing is that? Absolutely, the stadium, you just look at it, it's like, wow, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Previously hosted the Olympics in 1932 and 1984, and then in 2028. Wow. Stadium serves as the home of the Trojans, USC Trojans. Coliseum was home of the Los Angeles Rams, 1946 to 1979, when they moved to Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim. Yeah, I can't. I hate that, man. Anaheim, right? That was ridiculous. But anyway, and again, they moved back in there from 2016 to 2019 before the teams moved to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. In 2020, that's when they opened up. Unfortunately, in 2020, nobody could go to the games because that was COVID. That was the year of COVID. My son and I were actually, this is the SoFi Stadium here. Actually, we're going to go to the first ever, unbelievable looking stadium. Yeah. When my son and I were going to go to the first game ever at SoFi Stadium, that's when the Dallas Cowboys were playing. It wound up being a really exciting game, but no fans were allowed in the stands because of COVID. So the facility has a permanent seating capacity of 93,607 for USC football game and Ram games, making it at the time the largest football stadium in the Pac-12 conference and the NFL. It was the temporary home of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'll show you a picture or so or whatever of the field in the Coliseum, how it was laid out for the baseball. It was just like down the lines was like really short, but then out in center field, it was really far. It was weird. Just a weird construction. The Los Angeles Dodgers were there from 58 to 61, and it was the host venue for 3, 4, and 5 of the 1959 World Series games. You go into a World Series, like over 90,000 people are watching the game, a baseball game. How unbelievable is that? Let's see. Who's hosted Super Bowl I and Super Bowl 7. I'm sorry, 7. That was with the Dolphins. Perfect season. Let's see. Additionally, it served as home field for a number of other teams, including the 1960 inaugural season for the Los Angeles Chargers. They were Los Angeles Chargers in 1960, 1961. They became the San Diego Chargers. Then there was the home field for the Los Angeles Raiders from 1982 to 1994, and the UCLA Bruins football. There's a lot. If I read everything on this, I would be here for about 4 months. There's so much to read, but this you just walk out. Just looking at this, it's just absolutely beautiful. And it's been like that for forever, and just absolutely fantastic. It's just another one of those things. It's kind of like it is what it is, but why some of these stadiums are still around after all this time, and other ones like the game before with Tiger Stadium that opened up in 1912, isn't still around anymore. Why they're able, but it's just absolutely fantastic. Let's see. This is the Coliseum under construction. This is just huge, absolutely huge. Coliseum in 1923. A lot of renovations on it. Lots of the inaugural game in the Coliseum between Pomona and USC. But you see, a lot of people showed up. On October 6, 1923, Pomona and USC played in the inaugural game at the Coliseum. So what's this here? Whoops. Wow. Pomona College and Fitzer College. Wow. That's just crazy. Pomona. The Trojans won 23-7. From 28 to 81, the Bruins also played their home games at the Coliseum. Then, of course, when USC and UCLA would always play each other. Every year the game was played there. What do we got here? It's 32 Summer Olympics. I mean, I said there's just so much. Now you can see right here, this is the dimensions for the baseball. I mean, 251 feet down the line. I mean, my goodness, I can almost hit a home run there. Then it's 300 feet down the right field line, which is not very far at all. But then you look out here in dead center, it's 420. Now, a lot of it, you look at it too, I'll show you a picture. Hopefully it shows, I mean, but it was just like it wasn't like a wall. It was like a chain link fence that they put in. Baseball Commissioner Ford Frick ordered the Dodgers to erect a 42-foot screen in left field to prevent the 251-foot pop flies from becoming home runs. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Here's the 1959 between the Dodgers and the White Sox. I mean, you see how short this is. It's ridiculous. I mean, you see here, this right here, this is the end of the infield, right? And I mean, look how short that is. It's ridiculous. Here we go. Super Bowl I, of course, wasn't totally sold out. It would be sold out if they knew what was going to be. Probably would be sold out if everybody at the time knew what a Super Bowl was going to become. I mean, I'm sure it would have been sold out then. But I mean, so I'd be here for 9 years reading all this stuff that went on here. So let's go take some. Let's look at some pictures here. All right, here we go. All right, the Rams at the Coliseum. Right, now, right here. This is right here. See, this is the baseball. So right out here, it was just a. This is the 42-foot. I guess screen. I guess. See right here. You see this pole right here and this pole right here. When you see how short this is, the infield ends right here. There's the dirt's in here. I mean, this is really short. Just nothing but a sea of people, and just imagine. I mean, with the sea of people. And this is even for 93,000 people. But of course, with this being here, right, this takes up room. I mean, imagine if this whole was all, I mean, just a small amount of people is down here. So imagine if this was connected all the way around. How many people? It'd be well over 100,000 people being there. I mean, just crazy. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is Super Bowl I right here. Looks like if you look at the scoreboard here during the first half, when it was still a ball game, the Packers were winning 14-10 at halftime. So still a ball game until the Packers scored 3 touchdowns in the second half. There you go. I mean, look at that. What do we got here? Okay, we're third quarter. Okay, so it was 14-10 at halftime. Now it's 28-10, and the Packers would soon score another touchdown to make it 35-10. Here we go. I mean, just the third case. This is the third game. This is the first World Series game played at the Coliseum. The Dodgers had games 3, 4, and 5. You got the scoreboard up there. 92,000 people. 92,394 came to see the game. Wow. 92,000 people for a baseball game. Oh, here you go. Right, it's like a it's not like a wall. You can see part of it right there. Oh, here we go. It's just an odd dimension. Right, see how short this is here for baseball, and like way out here in center field, even a gap over here. I mean, this was like what I think they said 300 feet. But then you can see it starts, getting farther and farther a little, But they had like a 42 high foot wall or whatever built up here. So the 250, anybody hits a pop fly to left field, it would have been a home run. So, and of course we got, what year is this here? 1959 Memorial Coliseum. Los Angeles Rams versus Metal Tin Sign. The official program here. Rams and the Browns. And another one here. I don't know what this is here. 59 NFL Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum official program versus the Bears. Here we go. This is the Cardinals. And the Cardinals taking on the Rams. Here we go. A preseason game. I'm going to go with those old Ram uniforms. I'm not sure who it is. Not sure who this guy is here. He's got somebody's helmet on his head. But there were some great players who played there. I mean, not many greater than that guy right there. Marlon Olsen. One of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. And here, this guy. Andy Reid, huh? How about that face, huh? And here's when the Raiders played there. It was just odd. I mean, when the Raiders went to Los Angeles, it always was the Oakland Raiders and all. I mean, it's just such a shame. Because the teams want to play in good places and all of this. It's just when they moved to Delhi, was the Anaheim Rams. I mean, come on, man. Really, you can't figure something out. And then I said, then the Los Angeles, Al Davis wanted to move away from Oakland and all that. And forget Los Angeles Raiders. It just sounds weird. It really sounds weird, but it is a business after all. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful game, but here we go. I'm not sure if he's hurt here, but there's the old. That's a good picture right there of the Los Angeles Rams uniforms back then. Beautiful color picture right there. $1959. Let me see here. I don't know. 23-17. See, this is not right. Because this game was played. This is probably the game we're talking about here because this is in the Coliseum. See, 23-17. This is not right. The Lions beat them 23-17, but the Lions won 23-17 in Detroit at Briggs Stadium. This is in the Coliseum here. So this is wrong here. This is the game we're talking about. This is the 17-7 game. So this is a picture from the game that we're talking about right here. 17-7. You can see the guys' uniforms. I mean, beautiful. To me, I'm an old time fart. The old Ram uniforms. And then, of course, with the Lions, obviously, they don't have anything on their helmet, just a plain helmet, plain silver helmet. But this is a picture from this game that we're talking about. So we got quite a few things to talk about here. Got a little bit of pregame going on here. So let's go to the October 25th, 1959 edition of the Register. What do they got to say about the game? All right. I got to find it there. There we go. October 25th, 1959. The Register. And just in case you were wondering, yes, the Trojans did come from behind to beat Stanford. Today's Rams-Lions game will be broadcast by radio KMPC beginning at 1:25. West Coast time, that is. For those who believe in the old adage that history repeats itself, today's contest at the Coliseum between the Rams and the Lions is strictly a toss-up, with the Lions perhaps enjoying a slight edge. Just 1 year ago, the Rams and the Lions met in Los Angeles. Coach Sid Gilman's squad had a 2-2 mark, just like this season. Lions hadn't won a game in 4 starts, just like this season. The Rams were heavy favorites to win. What happened? Led by Canny Tobin wrote, Detroit all but blew the Rams out in the Coliseum 41-24. As things later turned out, the loss cost Los Angeles a tie for the Western Division title. Ooh. With this sort of a stage set, some 65,000 persons are expected to be on hand at the 1:30 kickoff to see if Bill Wade and his rapid transit system offense can keep history from repeating itself. On the plus side, the Rams go to the post with 2 excellent performances behind them. After a 6-year drought at Wrigley Field, they managed a convincing 28-21, and you can see right here, right? The Lions are 0-4 in last place. I mean, they only scored 56 points. They gave up 114. I mean, that's very unlike Detroit. Like, Detroit's got that good, tough defense. And you see the Rams right here, right in the thick of it. Right, 2-2. Only 1 game behind Green Bay and Baltimore. But they managed a 28-21 convincing win over the Bears. Then it followed that with a 45-6 victory over previously undefeated Green Bay. The terrific upsurge in the Ram offense has been a combination of some extraordinary running on the part of Ollie Matson, a total of 320 yards from scrimmage in the last 2 games. Great passing and a field generalship on the part of Wade. Key receivers by both Del Schaffner, who's a very good receiver, Jim Phillips, and solid running on the part of John Arnett and Tom Wilson. Wilson, in particular, was on the spectacular side in the Green Bay game. Although he carried only 6 times, he picked up 52 yards, many of them of strictly individual efforts. He very likely will share left half duties with Arnett this Sunday. Rookie Sam Williams replaced Leon Clark at right end in the starting lineup against the Packers, but the former USC star is expected to open against the Lions. Defensively, too, the Rams have begun to gel. Gilman describes his 4-man line. Lamar Lundy, who's the only one as of right now from the fearsome foursome on the team. None of the other guys joined the squad. None of the other guys were on the squad until into the 60s. John Lobatier, John Baker, and Lou Michaels as the best such unit he has had in his 5 years with the club. Although only a rookie, Lobatier has played outstanding ball in all 4 league games, rushing the passer well in addition to effectively working against the running game. Gilman has used the same starting trio of linebackers in the past 2 contests and likely will open with the same unit. It places rookie John Guzik at the left side, Les Richter in the middle, and Bill Jobko, speediest of all Ram linebackers, in the right outside spot. Will Sherman, defensive captain, should be ready to see his first league action at safety, although Don Burrows will sit out this one. He's still recovering from a kidney infection. Rookie cornerman Tom Frackhauser and Eddie Meador are set, and should Sherman start, he will team with Jack Morris at safety. Otherwise, it will be Clendon Thomas. Lions, who had not been getting the running they expected from John Henry Johnson, may replace him with Dan Lewis. Lewis was the Lions' top runner during the preseason schedule with a 6-yard average. Tobin wrote that the minor fracture of his left thumb permits will open a quarter, with rookie Nick Petrosani getting the starting call at fullback. Flanking back is Hopalong Cassidy, who already has caught 9 passes, 4 of them going for touchdowns. I mean, it's funny because he's already caught 9 passes. That's in 4 games. I mean, we got guys now in the NFL catching like 9 passes sometimes, and maybe almost in a half. And they're talking about a guy caught 9 passes in 4 games. So at that rate, they only got 12-game season. He would have caught 27 passes in a whole season. At that rate, I mean, that's not going to get it done in today's NFL. All right, so let's go now. Next, we'll go to the Press Telegram, the October 25th, 1959, of the Press Telegram. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that is Rams 13-point choice over Detroit. The winless Detroit Lions will be a 13-point underdog, and the sinless Rams will be without the services of 2 top stars today when the 2 NFL rivals clash at the Coliseum. More than 60,000 fans are expected to watch the 1:35 kickoff to a game which matches a team rated the 1959 NFL Patsy and a team which is on the long road back from an 0-2 start. The Rams' task is made more difficult by the absence of star offensive guard Buck Lansford and regular defensive safety Don Burrows. But rumor has it that the Rams did not need the loss of the 2 regulars to get them in a serious mood for this afternoon game. They will, in brief, seek their 3rd win as a ginless and grinless group. All right. Word is out that Lou Michaels' Thursday night freelance fisticuffing in the Sunset Strip bar owned by former Long Beach wrestling promoter Harry Rubin cost his teammates a verbal lacing from the Rams' higher-ups. Ooh. General Manager Pete Rozelle, soon to be Commissioner Pete Rozelle, right, said Saturday that Michaels will be fined for his brawling. Indications are that the club finally is fed up with after-hours activities of several key players. So warned that no further sallies down the Bobby Lane will be tolerated. It is expected the Rams will be businesslike in their approach to today's test, first of 3 consecutive home games for the club. But serious mood or not, the Rams will feel keenly the loss of Lansford, whose blocking was a highly strategic factor in road wins over the Bears and Packers. Ollie Matson, in particular, has praised Lansford's blocking to the skies. With the 3 Billy Goats, Gruff, Lansford, Joe Hauser, and co-captain Dwayne Putnam reduced to 2, it goes without saying that Bill Wade again will call all his own plays today. Sans a 3rd guard messenger boy, Coach Sid Gilman would be hard-pressed to send in plays from the bench. On the plus side for the Rams is the return of defensive safety Will Sherman, who will be playing his first league game after being sidelined with a sprained arch in his foot. Major lineup change for the let's see here. All right. All right. Let's see now here. Major lineup change for the Rams will find Tom Wilson starting in place of John Arnett in the running back spot. Wilson earned a starting spot with a great day against the Packers. The Lions will try to record their first league win with a strengthened line and a change in quarterback. Veteran Luke Creekmore, lured out of retirement last week, will open a tackle spot, and John Gordy will plug a king-sized hole at right guard. Earl Morrall will start at quarterback in place of injured Tobin Rote. Rote's wounded left hand is in a cast, but he will be available for relief duty if needed. Wow. The status of Rams defensive tackle John Lovetier is much the same as that of Rote. The rookie sensation will be replaced by George Struger in the starting lineup, but will be available for spot duty if needed. And there are the starting offensive players for each team. All right, then we got, let's see what else we got here. All right. Lions pass receivers are not up to par. Each game can produce a new crisis for most professional football coaches as far as job security is concerned. Take Sid Gilman of the Rams, for instance. Gilman was on the hot seat after losing the first two games. Two crucial wins over the Bears and Packers have taken him off the spot, at least temporarily. Today's visiting coach, George Wilson of the Detroit Lions, certainly is not in an enviable position as he brings his club into the Coliseum to battle the Rams with an 0-4 record. Hometown fans are booing him. The press is second-guessing him, and President Edwin J. Anderson has given him the kiss of death with one of those votes of confidence. Usually, a vote of confidence is not really necessary unless a coaching change is being discussed. In most cases, it means, what's up, bud? In most cases, it means he's our coach until we can find another one. The Lions' prospects of snapping their losing streak today is not too bright. This is one of the games that was more or less conceded to the Rams in preseason estimates. What's wrong with the Lions? After all, they have been tabbed by some observers as a Western Division dark horse. Well, injuries to some key men, particularly in the defensive backfield, have hurt them. One group of players is reported to be dogging it. They've been warned to start playing ball or they get bounced. Wilson, of course, is displeased with his quarterbacking situation. He gambled on Tobin Rote being able to carry the load a year ago when he traded the veteran Bobby Lane to Pittsburgh. Yeah, that was not a good move. The trade is still haunting him. Yep, yes it is, and is one of the reasons why he is on shaky footage. While Lane has been going great guns with the Steelers, Rote is having a rough time of it, and neither Morrall nor Jerry Reichow have been able to take up the slack. In the second game of the championship season, the 31-year-old Rote suffered a broken nose against the Packers. A week later, he damaged his left shoulder against the Colts and is still troubling him. And finally, he came out of last week's 49er tussle with a fractured left thumb. 4 games to date, Rote has hurled only 4 touchdown passes, all to Hopalong Cassidy. The big rap against him to date is his 11 interceptions, and he's on a record pace. While Rote's play is far below its usual standard, the breakdown in the Lions' pass attack and all-over offense is not entirely his fault. Pro scouts point out that Detroit's pass receiving is vastly overrated, and you won't go any place in pro ball without top-notch receivers. For the last couple of seasons, Wilson has stuck to his guns that I'll match our receivers with any in the league. Oh, that's kind of crazy, but after 4 games, he finally has conceded that our receivers haven't been so good. Pass receiving statistics prove the point. For instance, Jim Dorn's chronic leg troubles have limited him to 5 catches for 79 yards in 4 games, far under his normal output. He was the club's top receiver in the championship season of 57. Dave Middleton, last year's team leader, failed to catch 1 in 2 games with the Colts and has snared only 3 thus far for 24 yards. Steve Junker, hero of the 57 championship game when the Lions upset the Browns, hasn't bounced back from his knee surgery and has not yet snagged a single pass. Cassidy is a hard-working, self-made pass receiver who is the only one who has been coming up with the big play. but he hasn't the size or the speed to be a really top receiver. He's grabbed 9 passes thus far, above par for him, about 2 receptions a game. Reichow is part quarterback, part receiver with 5 catches to his credit, all against Green Bay. Jim Gibbons currently leads the Lions with 11 catches for 123 yards, but all were in the first 2 games. With the point production being far below this year, Detroit's main hopes of brewing big trouble for the Rams today will lie in its 4-man defensive line, one of the toughest in the business. It's composed of Bill Glass, Darius McCord, Gil Main, and Alex Karras. Their job today is to slow down the freewheeling Ram offense enough for its sputtering offense to make a game of it. Wilson is fervently hoping that they can do this. Although Anderson says his job is safe, the situation can change overnight if the losses keep piling up, which is true. Absolutely true. Let's see here. That's what is that page 29, 32. All right, so let's go to the start of the game, shall we? Go to the October 26, 1959 edition of the Detroit Free Press. All right. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. All right, here we go. Inspired Lions throttled the Rams 17-7. Earl Morrall and Webb sparked first victory. All right. Say a cheer for our Lion friends and let us forget all that went before. They are heroes again. Under a sunless California sky, the beleaguered old champions rediscovered a long-lost formula for winning football and smashed the Rams 17-7 for 74,288 in the Memorial Coliseum. A powerful 5-yard sprint by Fleet Danny Lewis in the final 5 minutes of play crushed the Rams' dreams of challenging for the Western Division Championship and sealed the Lions' first victory in 1959. Perhaps you don't believe all this. Small wonder, not since Thanksgiving Day 1958 had the Lions actually won a football game. The dreary spell produced 6 straight defeats. And there we go. A picture right here of a touchdown. Ken Webb, all by his lonesome, dives for the Lions' first touchdown. And boom, boom, Jeffron. Late goal helps the Canadians beat the Detroit Red Wings. But this is no fantasy. The Lions won, and they won brilliantly. With overpowering defensive play, great work from 2 players who had done little in the past, and with the help of that bit of luck Coach George Wilson has cried for. They overwhelmed the Rams on a magnificent goal line stand in the 3rd period, just as it seemed that Los Angeles was coming on to take charge. They smashed Ram quarterback Billy Wade just as it seemed that Wade had Los Angeles on the march toward a touchdown, which would have beat the Lions again. They did everything that they had to be done, and it's strange that they were able to do so. Quarterback Tobin Rote played not a minute. Fullback Nick Petrosani, most powerful of the line runners, never got a chance with the ball. In this steed, the Lions used Earl Morrall, former Michigan State quarterback, and Ken Webb. They were the 2 kings of an attack which constantly kept the Rams on their heels. Morrall connected on 7 of 18 passes. Might well have done better with steadier receivers. And Webb rushed for 71 yards in short bursts, which tore the Rams defense. It was a fine game, a quick-turning affair loaded with good breaks and bad. The Lions had most of the good ones. John Arnett, Fleet Ram halfback, raced 101 yards with a kickoff, only to lose it because of a clipping penalty. Roy Wilkins intercepted a Morrall pass and ran into the Detroit 18, but a penalty killed that. It was a day meant for the Lions, and they thrived with bruising line play and tough work among the defensive backs. Oops, sorry, buddy. The winning margin actually was a 37-yard field goal by Jim Martin, the first points of the game early in the second period. But the Lions needed Lewis' clinching touchdown to stave off a desperate Ram team which needed to win to stay alive in the championship race. Los Angeles was thwarted throughout the second half by the Detroit defense. Late in the third period, trailing 10-7, the Rams began a threatening march from their 20. Ollie Matson fumbled once and gained 20 yards. Before they knew it, the Lions had their backs to the wall at the 1. But first, Jimmy David, then Joe Perry, buffeted Ram ball carriers to take possession at the goal line. Los Angeles never got that close again. The clinching touchdown came after Gary Lowe stabbed one of Wade's passes at the 48 and raced to the Ram 26. It was the first of his 2 interceptions in the fourth period. The Lions plugged to the 10, helped by a brilliant pass catch by Lewis, and in 2 plays had the touchdown, which meant their first victory. The Lions took a 3-0 lead in the second period on Martin's field goal, but the lead lasted only briefly. Arnett took the kickoff for 101 yards, but the penalty brought it back to the Ram 11. From there, Wade piloted the Rams to their lone touchdown in 10 plays. The key won a 41-yard pass to Del Schaffner to the Detroit 1. Matson scored from there to put Los Angeles ahead 7-3. On their next try with the ball, the Lions seemed in trouble. Morrow's pass was speared by Wilkins, but and what do we got here? John Henry Johnson burst through 5 Rams for a 39-yard run. And what do we got here? Yeah, I mean, the Rams had 23 first downs, well over 300, almost 350 yards of offense, 20 out of 31 passing, which is pretty impressive back in those days. 2/3 of your passes completed. I mean, the Lions were 7. I mean, look at this. Lions at 87 yards passing, 172, only 18 first downs, 7 out of 18. But they picked off 3 passes, and they wound up winning the game. Wow. All right, what do we got here? This is okay. So Morrow pass was speared by Wilson, but penalty here saved the ball for 6 more plays. By that time, Morrow had the Lions at the Rams 37, and when Tom Frankhauser, I guess, picked off Morrow's pass at the 17, the situation wasn't nearly so damaging. The Rams pushed upfield with Wade passing 26 yards to Leon Clark on the Detroit 42. Then Alex Karras, Gil Maines, Bob Long, and Bill Glass rushed Wade so strongly that the quarterback fumbled. Long recovered at the Ram 41. That was the key break for the Lions. They shot John Henry Johnson over right guard, and Johnson streaked 39 yards down to the Ram 2. That was the picture I just showed you. On the second play, Webb smashed for the touchdown, which lifted the Lions ahead to stay 10-7 at the half. Detroit, which had intercepted only 3 passes all season, intercepted 3 in the second half. Lowe had 2. Terry Barr had 1 which stopped the Rams at the outset of the third period and produced only a wide field goal try from the 47 by Martin. From that point, the Rams began the drive, which was to be balked at the Lions' goal and turn the tide completely in Detroit's favor. The Lions moved to Palo Alto Monday to await next week's game with the 49ers. Let me go back here. All right. What do we got here? These 2 big Rams held Webb to a mere 2-yard gain on this one. I do believe that would be Lamar Lundy right there. Lions saw it coming. After weeks of searching vainly for a victory, Lions coaches and players alike let out a loud cheer for their 17-7 conquest over the Los Angeles Rams here Sunday. It had all been predicted by linebacker Wayne Walker, who did not play because of a shoulder injury. Before the game, Walker said meaningfully, "You guys are going to see the greatest comeback since Ben Hogan." Defense coach Buster Ramsey called the Lions' effort against the Rams the best defensive work he can remember. "We set up a special defense, which we had not used this year to stop Ollie Matson from going wide," Ramsey said. "The 49ers ran wide on us last week, and the Rams had been doing the same in their last two games. This defense put a lot of extra pressure on Jimmy David, Terry Barr, and Gary Lowe, but they all did a terrific job, really terrific." Aldo Forte, who coaches the offensive line, joined Ramsey in praise of the defense. To Alex Karras, the bulky tackle, he said, "You can take a great deal of credit for the rush on Wade, which produced our second touchdown." Coach George Wilson now will have to restore the usual $100 gift line players received for pocket money during the West Coast stay. They were not to get it if they lost to the Rams. Wow. Jeez. "The team hustled all the way," Wilson said. "We still had some fumbles, but we came up with the interceptions and recoveries at key points." Tobin Rote's injured left hand was taped. He could have been used, but Wilson thought Morrill was doing a good job. So good, in fact, that Rote will be hard-pressed to win back his job. Wilson was asked whether Morrill would start a quarterback next week against the 49ers. "I'd say so," the coach replied. Wilson had hard words on the sidelines for Captain Joe Schmidt as a result of one of the decisions Schmidt made in the first period. It's Schmidt's job to decide whether to accept or decline a penalty when infractions are called against a rival. The Rams' Del Schaffner got off a weak 32-yard punt to the Detroit 33. Los Angeles was offside on the play, and Schmidt decided to accept the penalty. It gave Schaffner a chance to kick again, and this time he booted 49 yards down to the Detroit 16. The breaks were going in the Lions' favor Sunday. John Arnett spent 101 yards with a kickoff for an apparent touchdown, but the ball was called back to the Ram 11 by a clipping penalty. One of Morrill's passes was intercepted by Roy Wilkins, who raced to the Detroit 18 in the second period, but this was disallowed because of a Ram holding. Not all of it was in the Lions' favor. Matson was smashed at the Ram 10 late in the first period and threw a wild lateral, which Jim Martin recovered on the Ram 2, but the officials ruled the ball dead before the lateral. Then on a fumble by Billy Wade, which set up Detroit's first touchdown and a 10-7 lead, Bob Long picked up the loose ball and with a clear field ahead of him from the Ram 42, fell over Wade. It didn't matter much because a moment later, John Henry Johnson bolted to the 2-yard line and Ken Webb scored. Lions coaches again were calling the signals, but they used new messengers and Jim Doran and Jim Gibbons. They took over duties of the rookie guards, Bob Grotkow and Mike Rabel, who were benched in the realignment of the Lions' offensive line. Also, they were benched too because they were having a hard time blocking the San Francisco defensive line, and they kept running the guards in and out. And Leo Namalini was eating these guys up for the game, just eating them alive. And so every time they'd run them in and out, they were getting a little winded, I guess. So they would get in the game, they'd be running, backing off and on the field, and it was winded, and Leo was just eating them alive. So that was another reason, possibly why he didn't have his guards running in and out with the plays. So, all right, now we got. All right, now what do we got here? Now we got the Los Angeles Times, the October 26, 1959 edition of the Los Angeles Times. What has it got to say? I think it's there. Right? Okay, all right. Lowly Lions upset jittery Rams 17-7. Like this, you got all these, right? Wade, Joe Marconi, Maines, Joe Schmidt, Lowe. See a lot of the stuff you don't see nowadays. See a lot of guys laying on the ground and stuff like that. This guy's coming in for a block. He might wind up on the ground. You got this guy on the ground. You don't see a lot of guys laying on the ground nowadays. All right, let's refresh the page. Rams bid for the go-ahead touchdown late in the third quarter is repulsed as Detroit forward Wall rises up to stop fullback Joe Marconi. It was fourth down play from the 1 yard line. He was stopped for no gain. Rams trailed at the time 10-7, and Lions clinched with the fourth period touchdown. So this is the goal line stand right here. Of course, this is Walter Payton. He would hand the ball off, and Walter would just fly over the as the goalpost right there. Of course, Walter would just jump over the pile. He wouldn't have to, bury his way in there. He would just jump over the pile. Sluggish Rams beaten by hungry Lions 17-7. After two splendid efforts on the road, Los Angeles Rams returned to the Coliseum yesterday afternoon and before an expected crowd of 74,288 turned in a miserable performance in losing to the heretofore winless Detroit Lions 17-7. Favored by 13 points, the glamorous Rams fizzled all over the premises. They practically presented the game to the visitors with no strings attached. Guilty of only one fumble in their last two starts, the Rams yesterday dropped the ball 3 times and lost it twice. And quarterback Bill Wade, who hadn't had a pass intercepted in 2 games, was picked off 3 by eager Detroit defenders. One fumble was turned into a Lion touchdown in the second quarter. An interception in the fourth resulted in another Lion touchdown. Los Angeles had its share of tough luck, but most of it was the Rams' own making. For example, in the second quarter, after Jim Martin had kicked the 37-yard field goal to put Detroit ahead 3-0, John Arnett took the ensuing kickoff and raced brilliantly 101 yards through the entire Lions team for a touchdown. But the play was called back on a tripping penalty. Rams took over back on their own 11. Later in the same period, linebacker Roy Wilkins intercepted an Earl Morrow pass on the Detroit 45 and returned the ball to the 11. Everything was okay, except that the officials detected a Ram for holding. The play was not allowed, and the Lions still held the ball. Scored intermission favored Detroit 10-7. It just as well could have been 21-3 in favor of the Rams had the fumble not occurred and had not officials called those 2 costly penalties. In the third quarter, the Rams started looking like the team many believed good enough to go on to the championship after having blown their first 2 league starts. They took over back on their own 20, with fullback Ali Matson cracking away at the line and with Wade hitting Del Schaffner, Jim Phillips, and Liam Clark with sharp passes. Los Angeles in 14 plays advanced down to the Lions 2. There were still 2 downs to put the ball across and go into the lead. Wade ran wide to his right on third down and missed scoring by less than a yard. Joe Marconi then entered the game for Matson. Wade handed the ball to Joe, the ball as the latter charged full steam into the line. But what was supposed to have developed into a touchdown went for naught as tackle Jerry Perry and linebacker Bob Long repulsed the rush right at the line of scrimmage. With the Rams, it was an afternoon of missed opportunities. It seems incredible that the usually high-scoring Los Angeles Pros could total 345 yards and gain but a single touchdown. The Lions, on the other hand, made fewer miscues and went on to their upset with a total yards of only 259. Morrill, 4-year veteran quarterback from Michigan State, went to the distance for the winners. He controlled the ball quite well. He passed 18 times and completed 7 for 104 yards. And then, of course, he lost some due to sacks. So he his net yard, was well under 100. Here we have another one right here. John O'Neill of the Rams weaves his way for 101 yards to the Detroit team for a score on a kickoff in the second quarter, but the Rams were detected. Handkerchief arrow tripping to nullify the effort. Where is the handkerchief? Oh, there it is. I guess there's the handkerchief right there. There it is. Somebody did some clipping there. Right up the middle there. So you can even say, see the arrow, he ran this way, and he ran this way, then he's here, and then we go off this way. There's the 25-yard line, there's the 20-yard line. Obviously, there's the 15-yard line. Crazy. I love it. All right, so next we got... All right, let's go to... Got quite a few pages here, the Los Angeles paper here. So let's go to... Let's see now here. Los Angeles Times, October 26, 1959. Page 78. Here we go. Lion fullback Ken Webb barrels into the end zone in the second quarter for Detroit's first touchdown. Identical in the pileup are Luke Creekmore, number 76, Charlie Ann, number 50, the center, and Detroit, Los Angeles, Lou Michaels, number 83. All right, let's see here. So here we were talking, hold on. Before coming here, the Lions, oops, I apologize, complained their passing game had been their chief weakness. In 4 previous starts, Detroit had suffered 11 interceptions. Yesterday, Morrill had only 1 pass picked off. Realizing the weakness of their air attack, the Lions concentrated running the ball. They netted 172 rushing yards on 39 carries. Halfback Ken Webb from Presbyterian College was the chief ground gainer with 71 yards and 16 carries. Madsen, as he had been in the last 2 games, was the big workhorse for the Rams. His signal was called 22 times, and he responded by rolling up 99 yards. Tom Wilson started in place of Arnett at left halfback. Wilson, though, could not get going. Whereas his blocking left plenty to be desired. Arnett took over in the second quarter. He carried the ball 4 times to 12 yards. He gained 23 more by catching 3 passes. Aside from those 3 costly interceptions, Wade got considerable mileage out of his passing arm. He threw 30 passes, completed 20 for 245 yards. 41 yard shot to Dal Schaffner in the second period set up this LA's lone touchdown. Schaffner snatched the ball away from Terry Barr and went down to the 1 where he stumbled. On the following play, Madsen drove over center for the score. Jack Morris converted, and the Rams enjoyed a brief 7-3 lead. From the outset, the Rams appeared flat, though. The first quarter, they failed to get out of their own territory. A Detroit forward wall, Bill Glass, Gil Main, Alex Karras, and Darius McCord did a bang-up job containing Rams runners and putting a rush on Wade. Long, the former UCLA ace, was a constant standout backing up the line, ably assisted by Joe Schmidt and Martin. Second time the Lions had the ball, they moved to the Rams' 41. Here, Martin attempted the first of 3 field goals. The kick was wide to the right. Next time Martin tried after the 2:31 of the second period, his boot was successful from the 37. Shortly after a penalty had nullified Wilkins' fine return of an interception, rookie halfback Tom Frankhauser swiped the Morrill pass. The Rams went to work on their own 17 and moved the ball up to the Lions' 42. This march collapsed when Wade fumbled after being hit by Karras. Long recovered on the Ram 41. 5 plays later, Detroit had its first touchdown when Webb plowed 1 yard over center. John Emily Johnson, who had replaced Lewis at halfback, set up this touchdown by rambling 39 yards on a draw play. He was belted out of bounds by safetyman Clendon Thomas on the 2. And here's your stats there for you. Whoops. See that? I mean, this is the Lions had 7 completed total passes all day. Rams had 20. So Wade had a good game, 20 out of 30, but it's 3 interceptions. And here's the Russian. Lions ran the ball 39 times. Rams ran the ball 34 times. Los Angeles got a break early in the final period after Morrill had completed a pass good for 46 yards to Howard Hopalong Cassidy. On the following play, Webb fumbled a handoff from Morrill. Lamar Lundy recovered, and the Rams were back in business on their own 31. Trailing by only 3 points, the crowd shouted, "Charge!" and everyone felt certain this would be the time for the Rams to march out in front to stay. Once the attack bogged down, but on a 4th and 1 situation, Madsen picked up the necessary yardage, and the rush continued, but only briefly. 2 plays later, Wade was rushed by Long, fumbled, and the ball recovered by Maine on the Rams' 46. 3 Morrill passes fell incomplete, and Yale Larry punted. Madsen fumbled the kick on the 6th, but luckily for the Rams, officials charged that Steve Junker had hit Ollie too soon, so a penalty gave LA the ball on the 23. 2 passes, Wade to Shofton for 18 and Wade to Clark for 11, moved the ball into Lion territory. Once again, the cry of "Charge!" echoed from the big bowl. But as the echo slipped into the tunnel, Wade's pass intended for Phillips was snatched by Barr on the Lions' 45. Before he could be halted, he was down to the Rams' 26. 6 plays later, Lewis ran 5 yards to a right tackle for the touchdown that practically put the Lions out of reach. This is the 2nd straight time that the Lions have been bitter medicine for the Rams at home. And there you go, your lineups. All right, let's see. We got another one here. Let's see, another one for the Los Angeles Times. I'm going to find it. This might be it. Okay, here we go. October 26, 1959 edition. The Los Angeles Times. History repeats itself. Morrill was hero of upset last year, too. I love the Coliseum. This remark probably wouldn't stand Lion quarterback Earl Morrill in good graces with the baseball and Chicago White Sox, but the former Michigan State All-American has good reason to be kindly disposed to Figueroa Saucer. It was Morrill who enabled Detroit to keep precious possession of the ball at the Coliseum last year when the Rams were vainly trying to play catch-up, result of 41-21 upset Lion victory. And Morrill, along with Bob Long, Jim David, Yale Larry, and others, had a big day yesterday as the Lions scored a stunning 17-7 victory. Morrill was asked about the draw play. Let me refresh here. Asked about the draw play call at the close of the first half. Faced with a 3rd and 10 situation on the Ram 41, Earl sent John Henry Johnson into the line, the latter racing to the Ram 2-yard line. 2 plays later, the Lions scored and never trailed again. The Rams do a lot of stunting, and we knew it would encounter the right defense the play would go, explained Earl. Lion coach George Wilson confirmed that he sent the particular play from the bench. However, George added that Morrill had the option to check signals on any sideline selection. How were you so effective in stopping the Rams' running game? Wilson was asked. In other games this season, the Rams like to run wide. We concentrate on turning them inside. We didn't want Ollie Matson or John Arnett to turn the corner on us and go all the way. By giving the Rams the inside, Los Angeles was held to a paltry 126 yards net rushing compared to 250 yards for the Packer game and 225 in the Bear victory. So basically, they only had like half the amount of rushing yards the Rams did in this game against the Lions that they did in the past 2 games, which were both victories. This was our best all-around game, beamed a likable Wilson, and George was charitable too. Remember we caught the Rams after 2 tough ball games? Despite the victory, Wilson said that he didn't know why the Lions continued to fumble so much. Actually, the Lions only fumbled twice, losing the ball on one occasion. Perhaps David, the veteran Lion defensive back, best summed up the Detroit's victory. We always seem to come up with a crucial 3rd down play when we needed it. This may be small consolation to Sid Gilman and his crew, but David is tremendously impressed by the Ram backs. I've never seen so many good backs on a team, said David. And that end, Jim Phillips, why he's as tough to cover as anyone in the league. I'll bet that Baltimore-Los Angeles game will be a good one, added David, sounding more like a fan than a player. The Rams drew honest praise. It's a shame plaudits don't count in the Western standings. Oh. And there we go. There's Wade running for his life. Bill Wade has clear field, so it looks like, as he keeps ball in a 3rd down, playing a critical 3rd quarter drive and rolls out to the 1-yard line. But he was stopped there, and a 4th down try also failed. Gilman doesn't try to alibi Ram defeat. In an atmosphere that resembled the wake for a dear departed friend, Ram coach Sid Gilman whispered his puzzlement in the Coliseum dressing room. Dejected, slumped in his chair, Gilman made little attempt to explain the sterling 17-7 defeat given his Rams by the Lions. You've just got to stay up or you get beat. You've got to be up all the time. He hesitated, shook his head, and added, you don't get that by prodding and nagging. Someone on the squad has got to help you. It was obvious that no one on the Rams squad had given any help for yesterday's contest that the Rams were slated to win by 2 touchdowns. Quarterback Billy Wade stripped for the shower, stuck his head into the room and said, sorry, coach, my fault. No, said Gilman quickly. No, Bill, forget it. Gilman said that Wade did the play calling for the Rams yesterday. The Detroit defensive line did a good job, he continued. They used a wide defense, and when you run into that, you waste time running wide. 2, you have to block. If you don't block, you don't win. Asked his opinion of the protection given Wade on his passing, Gilman replied, I guess that one of the backs was not picking up his man. Wade was rushed, but I've seen him throw better. During the game, the Ram passer had trouble locating his receivers downfield, and when he did, he threw over them. Gilman admitted the Rams were outplayed all the way. It's disheartening to get a foot from the goal line, not score, and have to give them the ball. It's worse when you let them come right out as we did. We used audible play calling because it worked for us the last 2 games. And we saw no reason it would not against the Lions, said Gilman. We did everything before that game we've done the last 2 games. Nothing different in the format. I haven't the slightest idea why we jumped offside so much. Yes, that Joe Schmidt of theirs is a great football player. We went for the yardage on those 4th down calls because I'm a gambler, and it worked. We made the first downs. It might have been a little different game had we gotten that 100-yard kickoff return of our nets, and those interceptions hurt. We throw a bit behind Phillips, and the ball gets deflected down to the ground. No up, it could get deflected down into the ground where it would be incomplete. But no, it got deflected up into the air where they can get it. Well said, Gilman concluded as gloomily as when the interview began. Which way am I going here? It's the nature of the business. It's a tough break, but we lost. No one would argue with that point. And what do we got here? Okay. Page 77. So the October 26, 1959 edition of the Los Angeles Times. Let's go to page 77. Got some pictures here. So I'm going to find page 7. Oh, there we are. Page 77. All right. Okay, cool. It looks tough, but the Rams snag it. Wow. I guess he caught that pass. Wow. Jeez, that's some good coverage. Wow. Let's see. Complete. Although it appears Yale Larry is about to bat the ball away. Leon Clark takes a 22-yard pass to the Ram 35 in the 4th quarter, but the drive ended in a fumble. Wow. Tell you what, boy, that's some good coverage right there. All right. Here we got here. Clincher, Detroit halfback Don Lewis races into the end zone with a touchdown to sew up the Coliseum battle with the Rams. John Lovetier dives in a vain last-ditch effort. After conversion, this made it 17-7 late in the game. And there you go. There's the goal line. There's Lovetier running in the end zone. Oh. Refresh once again. Lion Gary Lowe wrestles Leon Clark to earth on a 2-yard line after completion of an 8-yard pass. Bill Wade in the 3rd quarter. From Bill Wade in the 3rd quarter drive, but Rams could not score from this point in the next 2 tries and lost. Taking him down by his head. Hey. And there we go. There's good old Alex Karras right there, right? I love the way they, right? There's Bill Wade, Glass, Karras, Hauser, Morrow. Yeah, Barr, Del Schaffner. What we got here? All the way, almost. Bill Wade pitches to Del Schaffner on the 10, and despite tackle by Derry Barr, Schaffner crawls over the goal line, but officials spotted the ball back on the 1. Rams scored lone TD from here. So we fell down here. I don't know if he started crawling, and he was down. I see the referee coming in here. Going to spot it, put his foot down. Oh, I guess maybe right here, I guess. Now here's the pass. Down the field. Shopton jumps up high and grabs it. Love that. Man, that's great. I love that. Love that coverage. Absolutely love that coverage. Well, it was, once again, it was extremely disappointing. Obviously game for the Rams. The Rams outgained them. But once again, there's always, in every game, there's always like those 4 or 5 plays. You never know what they're going to be, when they're going to come. Is it going to be a play, or is it going to be a good play that gets called back because of a penalty, or is it going to be an interception, a fumble? So the Rams obviously by probably about 75 yards outgained the Lions in this one, but the penalties wound up being costly. The interceptions were costly. A fumble was costly. So it was not meant to be. And it was want to be a relatively close game. And of course, we see it as the season goes along. These 2 teams would just start working their way farther and farther down toward the cellar. And bad teams playing bad football, and the Rams would wind up with 2 wins, and the Lions would wind up with 3. And it's hard to believe that you figure that from 1945 to 1957, all these teams, they played all those championship games, and at the end of the 1959 season, these 2 teams would combine for only 5 wins. Wow. Well, that's the way it was on this date, October 25th, 1959, as the Detroit Lions would take on the Los Angeles Rams in Memorial Coliseum. Pro football, the first 50 years. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.